grind, to the hustle, the pursuit of wealth. Every story, every journey, every climb from the shelf. Here's to the drive, to the fight, to pursuit of wealth.
Welcome back to another episode of the Pursuit of Wealth podcast with our co-host, Mr. Jace Wright.
Oh, man, what an intro there.
You guys should be a sports commentator.
That was good. That was good.
I'm excited for today. I'm jacked. Yeah. I don't know if I just had a lot of coffee, if I am just jacked on the fact that this is podcast day. I don't know, but I'm excited. Excited to talk about finances, and hopefully we share something today that'll help the listeners make some smarter financial decisions so they can start building wealth long-term, because ultimately that is our goal. Another stat that I heard recently, and I keep hearing these stats.
Your algorithm's changed.
My algorithm's changed, and it's like it's feeding me these stats of people's finances, and it's blowing my mind. 7 out of 10 Americans live paycheck to paycheck.
Oof.
7 out of 10.
Yeah,
that's insane. And you kind of figure if the stat for the amount of people that have $1,000 saved is like less than 60, 70%, okay, that makes sense. That's 7 out of 10 people live paycheck to paycheck because they don't have any money saved. But for me, like that is really sad. And I think a lot of it, it's not, a majority of Americans are making good money. I mean, the household income in the US, I think is at like 70, 80,000 at least. I was going to
say probably around 80.
I think majority, even here locally, most households are probably bringing in over 100,000. A lot of people have started doing dual income, so both spouses are working. So there's money coming in. I think it's just uneducation.
Uneducation, and then I'd throw in cost of living's gone up pretty substantially.
Cost of living had absolutely. If you have the same job that you had in 2020 and you haven't seen a pay increase, you basically have saw a 20% decrease.
You've taken a pay cut.
You've taken a pay cut, even if your pay stay the same because of inflation. And you can check this on the government website, like the Federal Reserve. They have an inflation calculator. You can put in the date that you want to compare it to. So if you put in like January 1st, 2020, what is $100,000 worth then versus today, February 21st, 2026, it's going to be like a 20 to 25% decrease in the value of that money. So $100,000 then is only worth about $75,000, like buying power.
So even if, in theory, this is what's wild, even if you got a raise
and it wasn't 25%, you still took
25%, you still took a pay cut.
Absolutely.
But it was masked as a raise.
Do you know what's insane about this is, so commercial real estate, when you invest in commercial real estate, why it's such a good asset class is a lot of leases account for, they have like a CPI kicker. So in your lease agreement. So when you sign a 10-year lease, there's usually a CPI inflation. So whatever CPI inflation was that year, the rent increases by that amount for the next year. It is like such a good asset class because you're getting long-term leases and you can basically have
account for inflation.
And then when you get a triple net lease signed by a tenant, they're paying taxes, insurance, maintenance of the building. So you literally have zero overhead after that. And because people's biggest complaint, on real estate too is like, well, what if taxes go up? Well, dude, commercial real estate accounts for that. Your tenant's paying the taxes if they go up. If maintenance costs go up, your tenant's paying those. So we bought our first commercial building this year. We lease it back to our businesses. I still make a good cash on cash return on it the way we structured it. But it's like opened my eyes. Like that is the most passive form of income. And as long as you buy right, commercial leases can take longer to fill. You might have a little bit longer vacancy between tenants, but instead of a 12-month lease like you're getting with residential properties, you're getting usually a minimum of 3 to 5 years. And some, if you can get in a good location, you can get like an anchor store for, let's say like a rental car company or some of those bigger companies, Enterprise and stuff like that. They want long-term leases. They want to try to get a 20, 30-year lease. Just because they know things are going to go up.
It'll go up.
And they don't. And companies like that, they hate to establish a location and then have to change. So they're branding and putting everything on this location. They don't want to have to change that in 5 years. And so, anyway, that was a side tangent of a good asset class to invest in because of inflation.
Right.
But so we're talking about inflation. Like, if you haven't seen an increase in your income, you were probably living better 5 years ago than you are today, because your dollar is worth less. And I could go on. We'll do a whole episode on inflation because that is something I'm passionate about. Like, it is destroying your money. And the rich people know how to play that game. It is just a game. They know how to hedge against inflation. You buy assets. Inflation causes asset prices to go up. And so if you own assets, then you really haven't felt that bad about the last 5 years. You're like, yeah, I mean, my dollar's worth less, but inflation has paid down my debt on my real estate because basically my debt is worth less because the dollar's worth less. So if you had $100,000 in debt on a property, really it's kind of like you only have $75,000 now because that dollar's worth less and things are going to increase. Salaries and incomes will increase. So anyway, side tangent, but I wanted to open up this episode with a concept that I heard recently. And it's basically around the fact that wealth isn't built in a day. It's built in a decade. And I think it's really easy for us to forget that. Everybody, I don't want to put our generation on blast, but everybody, I mean, majority of people are always just looking for the quick pill, the get rich quick program, the how do I make $10,000 extra a month in the next 30 days, or these things that they think are going to make them a ton of money. And the truth is, wealth is not going to get created overnight.
And I think everyone knows that they've either done this themselves or they know somebody who has done this. And I see it all the time. Gone are the days when people are generally willing to test something for longer than a year.
Yeah.
You see people changing jobs all the time. You see people like they will not see it through the hard times because of that mentality. They want the get rich quick scheme, the instant gratification. They see the end result of someone. Let's take a doctor, for example. They see the end result of a doctor who's established, making a ton of money, great, work-life balance, whatever the case may be.
Doctors don't have good work-life balance.
They don't have, maybe doctors are bad.
Continue.
Maybe a doctor's a bad analogy there,
continue.
But someone who's successful, right?
Yeah.
They see the end result and expect that in 2 to 3 months.
Yeah.
They didn't see the 10 years, to your point, decade of going to school, going in debt, paying that off, the building your book of business and the stress involved with that. Like I talked to a guy who is in therapy. He's a therapist.
Okay.
After school and all that stuff and doing interns and everything, he did not see a paycheck for that practice for at least like 6 to 8 months.
Yeah.
Not a single paycheck. And you're in debt from school.
Mm-hmm.
Like most people won't do that. They'll give up.
Yeah.
And it's because of that mentality. They're not willing. They want to be rich in a day. They're not willing to put in the work for a decade.
Yeah. And a lot of it's because they don't have a plan. Mm-hmm. It's really hard to stick with something if you don't have a plan. Like even for that doctor, that therapist, if they didn't have a plan of where they were going to go and how it was going to play out, they probably wouldn't take all those risks and do all that. Mm-hmm. Anyway, but like a doctor that goes to school, I mean, they're looking at what does my salary look like when I get out of school? Okay, does it make sense to take on this debt? I mean, they should be looking at that stuff. And that's where it gets really hard with school. If you're going to school to be a teacher, praise you, that is awesome. But the math is really hard. Mm-hmm. Because if you're going to go into debt to get that degree, it's like, well, what is the end pay for that degree? And how long is it going to take you to pay off that debt?
Right.
And is it worth it? And so looking at when you're making these decisions, it's like, I think people just don't do the math before they make the decision. And then they don't have a game plan of how are they going to make that play out. And if you can have a plan, it becomes so much easier. It's the same thing with your finances. When you have a plan for your finances, it becomes really easy the money comes in, you have a plan of where it's going to go. We've talked about this. If you don't have a plan, well, if you don't have a plan for your finances, somebody else does. Because it's going to go somewhere.
Yep.
Money's like water. If you don't tell it where to go, it's just going to spread. It's just going to, and then it's gone. Mm-hmm. If it spills on the floor, it's going to spread to the lowest points and then it's gone. But if you control it and you tell the water, you're going in this cup, and then you're going in this cup, and then you're going in this cup, you get to control where that water goes. Same thing with your finances. When it comes in, if you tell it exactly where to go, well, then it's not going to spill over and just go somewhere else where you don't know about. So,
and on that point, that's why I love automation.
Yeah.
Like I would never tell that money where to go if I had to do it on my own. Like I'm just that person. Unfortunately, it's a flaw. I would say it's a flaw, but it's the reality. I am not willing nor do I want to take the time to go through and say, okay, this much needs to go here, this much needs to go here, this much needs to go here. I want the end result, but the beautiful thing is automation.
You're not alone. 95, I'm going to say 5%, 95% of people are the same way.
Right.
Most people don't want to spend the time to do all that. Unless you're like a psycho engineer, which engineers they want to control everything and they can't let it. They still like automation, but like they want to control it. They want to see it. If you're not in that you're not that type of person, a lot of people don't. They would rather just have it taken care of. And that's why it's so important to just find a plan and then automate that plan. We've talked about the principles. Well, before we get into that, I want to share the other part of this quote. You don't build wealth in a day. It takes a decade. Similarly, you don't pay off debt in a day. It takes time. Okay. But you can go into debt in a day. One decision on a single day
could happen in an hour.
Significant
debt.
Yes. We're going to talk about that. You can make one decision that's going to put you into debt. And we know that you're usually not going to be able to pay off debt in a day. It's going to take time. So it might take you 10, 12, or even a few years to pay that debt off. That time that it's taking you to pay that debt off is now taken away from the time that you could have been putting that money into your future building wealth. And as long as you're doing the math and you realize what that true cost of whatever decision is you are making, by all means, make whatever decision you want, but just spend a little bit of time and make sure that it's an educated decision and that you know the consequences of that decision, because every decision has consequences. Just don't be impulsive. That's where people get into debt and they get into bad situations, is they're impulsive and they're not thinking, they don't feel the pain now. When you make that decision, it doesn't hurt right then. It's going to hurt 10 years from now when you never had money to put away for investments or retirement and you have nothing to speak for the last 10 years of your life making good money.
Question for you.
Yes.
On that note.
Yep.
I just thought of this. How much would it affect people if they had to make their first payment on a piece of debt the day that they decide to take on that debt? So for example, a car, they usually delay the payments a couple months. You buy the car and you don't have to make your first payment for 2 months.
Yep.
Same with a house. You don't have to make your payment for the first month. What if you had to pay your first payment on a piece of debt that you accumulate on day one?
I think it would change a lot of things.
I think it would too. I just thought of that. That's pretty interesting. There's a reason they do that.
Oh, 100%. The more friction there is to a decision, the more likely you are to contemplate that decision. The less friction there is, and same thing on the finances, the less friction there is for you to, have your money go to another account and start saving it, the more likely you are to do it. The less friction there is. If I don't have to do it, it's automated. Cool. I'm not going to worry. Now, similarly, when you're buying, the less friction there is when you're buying something, the more likely you are to just do it impulsively.
It's even down to little things. Let's say you go to Best Buy.
Yeah.
And you get the notification on the thing to apply for a credit card or whatever. Yeah. And you get these bonuses. Well, what if you had to pay a 20% fee on that amount?
Please do not get cards from retail stores.
It's awful.
That is the worst credit card ever. Okay. Don't get a Kohl's card. Don't get a Target card. Don't get a Best Buy card.
It's going ham.
No, it's so true. I'm like, okay, credit cards are not bad. I love credit cards. I love credit cards for the points. We've got, I actually did the math. I'm going to share that number because I'm proud of my credit card points. But I think we've got just shy of 4 million credit card points. We have 3.9 million credit card points. And that, to what that accumulates to travel is awesome. And I'm kind of like a credit card hoarder. I should just spend some of the credit card points. But it's kind of almost I don't know, it's a game. I like to accumulate them.
But my point though is,
yeah.
Let's say you qualified for, a $5,000 credit card limit at a Best Buy.
Yep.
And you're buying, let's say, a $2,000 computer. What if you had to pay the interest on that credit the day that you're buying that computer?
Oh yeah.
How much would that change? Would that keep you from buying the computer? Or they're just making it so simple to be able to get that with no friction that you just don't think about it until the next month when that bill comes due. We're
going to talk about this. This wasn't planned today, but we're going to talk about this because this is great. These companies are running massive businesses. You think about Target, Best Buy, Kohl's, any of these companies, they understand human psychology. They understand if they offer you 10, 20, 25% off of this purchase, if you get their credit card, why would they do that?
Because they know they're going to make more money from you in the long run.
Absolutely. Your lifetime value, they hope that they're going to give you free services. Hey, you get free Geek Squad, you get a better return policy. Why do they give you that? Because they still know that you're probably not going to return things within that return policy because we're lazy. They understand human psychology. They're not stupid. They understand how to make money. And so it is a numbers game for them. If they give you that 25% off with this purchase to get this credit card, you get the credit card. Your credit card interest is going to be like 20+%. And they know if it's really easy for you to buy large purchases with this card and put it on there, and maybe they'll even give you a few months free, no interest, you're not going to pay it. And then you're going to start accumulating interest. And credit card companies make amazing money, and they're very profitable, just loaning money to consumers. And so you got to understand, like, who is the cat and the mouse? You're the mouse in this. Like, they're just looking for ways to trap you, to get you stuck, and to make as much money as they can off of you. So think about that. Like, do not get their options. Do not get those credit cards, please. And if you do get a credit card and you play the points game, we never ever pay interest on our credit cards. I treat them like a debit card. Every month it gets paid off in full. I am not paying interest on a credit card. And you should, if you're going to get a credit card, because they're not bad as long as you treat it like a debit card, make sure you pay it off every month and accumulate the points. For me, it's like, dude, I mean, the value of my travel points is awesome. If I could spend all of those expenses, a lot of them are business expenses, I could spend those all on my debit card, but why? I mean, I'm paying it off every month anyway. I'm not spending more money than I have. I treat it like a debit card, but then I get the perk of travel points, which is awesome.
And take it from somebody who is in a significant amount of credit card debt, paying the minimums. You don't do anything. It doesn't do anything. You will remain in debt forever.
If you want a fun activity, if you are in credit card debt, print off your statement, your most recent statement, and on your statement it should show you the minimum payment due, and it'll show you how long it'll take you to pay off your current debt. If you don't, let's say you have 10 grand in credit card debt, it'll show your minimum payment, and then there'll be a time under there somewhere that shows if you make the minimum payments, it'll take you 7 years to pay this off. Look at that number and look at that time. Because again, we said wealth is going to take you time to build. Well, you really can't start building any wealth until you don't have consumer debt. Because putting money in the stock market, it's not going to outperform your 25% interest credit card. On average, the stock market is returning 10% a year. So you definitely don't want to be putting money into real estate or stocks until you don't have credit card debt. That is your first investment, like we've talked about with your story. So you got to be paying that off first. If it's going to take you 7 years to pay it off with the minimums, that is 7 years you're wasting that you could have been building wealth. Plug 7 years in of whatever your credit card payment is. If you'd put that in the S&P 500 at a 10% return, what that would be in 7 years. You'd probably be amazed at what that number would be. And so I think people you need to look, we make impulsive decisions and we don't do the math, and then we don't want to look at the situation that we put ourselves in. So print off that credit card statement, look at first look at what your interest rate is. I bet 95% of people have no idea what their interest rate is on their credit card. Look at, if you are going to put something on your credit card and you know you're not going to be able to pay it off that month, go look and see what your interest is going to be and do some math on that. Is it worth that extra 24% interest I'm going to get charged this year to make this purchase? One very important thing I think people need to understand, and I think this really helps you value money and value decisions more, is looking at your hourly rate. How much do you make an hour? Because everybody gets paid on an hourly rate. Even if you're a sales person, you still have an hourly rate, because
you take averages, or
you take averages,
the total amount, divide that by weeks,
correct,
days, months, hours. Yeah.
So in our business, obviously, months fluctuate. Your production is based on commission, just sales, and so, or your income, I mean. But let's say you're making 100 grand a year. You just divide that by the 12 months. That's your average monthly income. And then how many hours are you working a month? And then you divide that by your monthly average income. But let's use like a very simple $5,000 a month. Okay. If you're making $5,000 a month, well, first off, let's get how many hours you're working. Let's say you're working 40 hours a week. Let's just times that by 4 to give you 160 hours a month that you're working. So we have 160, and let's say your average income is $5,000 a month. Divided by 160. So you make $31 an hour. Okay. Just solid. $31 an hour. Now, when you're thinking about making purchases, remember how much time it's going to cost you to make that purchase. Mm-hmm. So there's a concept of like, when you look at your paycheck and figure out how many people are attached to your paycheck. And what I mean by that, when your paycheck comes in, you have bills that are going out. Your monthly mortgage payment, your car payments, your subscription payments, and back to like businesses and friction. Mm-hmm. Have you not noticed everybody is switching to subscriptions?
Everybody is.
Everybody. Mm-hmm. They all want to get you on a subscription, and they're all willing to give you a discount if you go to a subscription based. One, because again, they understand psychology, and for you to go cancel those subscriptions, you're probably never going to.
There's literally a business created to help you find subscriptions that you forgot about and cancel.
Which is an awesome business.
Very awesome business. Yes.
Please, and if you don't want to go through and look at it and do the work, like figure out one of these companies and have them go through it and look at it, because everybody's trying to get you on a subscription. Again, it's the lifetime value to a business. If they don't want your one-time purchase. They want you to purchase multiple things. If they can create less friction and give you a cheaper option, they're going to buy more. Mm-hmm. And let's just get them on a subscription. You think about, supplements. I ordered my supplements last week, and dude, I love this company, but I did subscribe. They give you like 25% off if you subscribe. Mm-hmm. And I set mine up for not like every 30 days because I get a 30-day dose of them, but I know I'm going to miss days that I actually don't take the stuff, and I don't want to just stack up. So I made decisions like I'm going to put that one on a 45-day because I know I'm not going to take that every day. It's going to be a gap. So it's just 45 days. And if I run out, I'll run out and I'll just wait for the next shipment to come in. So when I put on like a 60-day, because I'm like, I know for sure I'm like a month worth of that, I'm probably going to only do it every other day or something. And so, but everything wants to put you on a subscription. And then there's also the pay now or buy now, pay later. Companies know if they can just make it less painful on the initial purchase and get paid over time, you're more likely to make that purchase.
Imagine if you had to pay for your TV subscription up front.
Oh, yeah. If you had to pay.
Or your car wash. Even like think of a car wash.
$30 a month?
$30 a month, or you have to pay a year ahead of time. You'll never buy a car wash.
Never. It's $500.
I'm not paying $500 for a car wash. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, but if I only have to pay $30 a month, why not?
And then I maybe use that car wash once, twice.
Yeah.
Some go more, which is
they're not stupid.
Yeah.
I still fall victim to this stuff. Don't get me wrong.
I have a car wash subscription.
I refused to get a car wash subscription. Then I was in getting one like right before the 4th of July, and they're running a special where it was like $1 a month for the first 3 months, and you could cancel at any time. I'm like, I'm going to cancel it. It's been a year. I haven't canceled it. And now I'm getting charged $30. And I maybe go through the car wash once a month, maybe. So I'm better off just paying for the car wash. They understand this. They know the way businesses make money is to figure out how to make you spend money. So they are very incentivized to figure out human psychology and figure out how to get you to spend money. And they are very good at it. If you're on social media, a lot of people spend time on social media. I felt so many ads. Jace is awesome at this. One time at our last office, he brought in some candy he bought off of Instagram. He paid $45 for this candy.
It was so good.
I was like, Jace, you did what? This was before he got his finances in order. Okay. Oh, please preface that. But it is so easy to fall victim to these little things because it's like $30 here, $30 there. $25 subscription, a $29.99 subscription. Those are all attached to your paycheck. Mm-hmm. And when you start looking at your time, it's like, dude, if I'm making $30 an hour is buying this shirt worth 2 hours of my day? If not, don't buy it. And even press this on a larger scale. Think about your mortgage. Mm-hmm. How much is your monthly mortgage? Do the math on how much are you working to just pay for your housing? And everybody needs housing. But I think it puts into perspective to not overspend on your housing. Mm-hmm. Like if you're only making 50 grand a year, you know, the rule of thumb is like you should only be spending like 3 times your income on a house. So if you're making 50 grand a year, really you only have 150 grand that you should be buying with. Okay. Now I'll make exceptions of that because I think buying an asset, and if you can get in with the right programs, is a smart financial decision. And I go back and forth on this because I'm thinking as I talk. Obviously, it's your primary residence. It's not income producing. It's not really an asset. There are down payment situations where I look at our first home. We got to do it with like 5% down. There's programs where you can get into something with 3% down or less. If I look at the return on that money over time, and I had a decent interest rate, and basically like it was going to be the same as if I was going to be renting somewhere, my monthly payment on it, like it was a very good financial decision. So I think there's ways, that is a smart financial decision. The stats show, I mean, the difference in wealth accumulation from homeowners versus renters is astonishing. Mm-hmm. It's like 40 times. Like homeowners have a net worth 40 times greater than people that rent. So like it does, there are a ton of benefits. I'm a big believer in real estate because eventually too, you're probably going to sell that house, or I would encourage you to keep that house as a rental property for long-term wealth. But aside from the point, look at your car payment. This one I think is like very, because you can make changes here. Mm-hmm. Let's say you're making 50 grand a year, $5,000 a month, and you have $1,000 car payment, which is, it sounds crazy. I bet a lot of Americans that make 50 grand a year have like close to $1,000 a month car payment.
It's very easy to do.
I think the average car payment in the US right now is like $700 to $1,000. Mm-hmm. So let's do the math on that. Let's say you're making $5,000 a month. So you're making $31 an hour and you have $1,000 car payment. You divide the 1,000 by 31. You're working 32 hours a month to pay for your vehicle.
It's a full week of full-time work.
You say the first week of the month that you work is all dedicated to you just paying for your car. The thing that just drove you from your house to work, sat in the parking lot while you worked, you're spending a whole week to work to pay for that. Is it worth it?
It's wild.
Is it worth it?
Yeah.
And that's not up for us to decide. It is up for you to decide. And I don't care what you decide to do. I just want you to understand the impact. Just understand the impact. Do the math. Make a quick judgment on the math. I would actually like to just work 10 hours a month for my vehicle. So I'm going to try to, and like you could reverse it, do that. So if you're making $32 an hour or $31 an hour and you only want to work 10 hours a month to pay for your vehicle, you need a car payment at $310. Mm-hmm. Go find a car with a payment of $310. Like these are the kind of things that you have to, these are the decisions that help you build the future that you really want.
This mentality can be very, very crucial because I don't think there's a single person, like if we were in a position of wanting to buy a car.
Yeah.
And I were to say, would you prefer used or new? 100% of you are going to say new. I'm going to say new.
Yeah.
That's what you would prefer.
Nobody wants the used car.
Yeah. Nobody wants the used car. But using your math and different things, you could be like, okay, the new car is $60,000. The used one is $40,000. Am I wanting to save X amount of time, $20,000? How much time would it take to,
make up that difference?
Make up that difference, and that can help you make that decision.
Yeah,
I think pretty easily.
100%. I mean, if you're making, this is the easiest way to think about it. If you're making a decision between like a $60,000 car versus a $30,000 car, mm-hmm. which you could go a few years back on a vehicle, and basically like it's worth half the price as a new vehicle. We're going to talk about that because Jace made a decision recently. And I don't think it's a bad decision, but let's say it's a $30,000 difference. You make $50,000 a year. Mm-hmm. That $30,000 is 7-8 months of your work. You're going to pay you're going to work an extra 8 months to pay for that vehicle versus a different vehicle. And if you decide it's worth it, hey,
Now,
awesome.
if you can buy a $60,000 car making $50,000 a year, like, good on you. I don't know how people do that. How do you do that? It's because it's based off of monthly payments, right?
Correct.
But
Dude,
that's wild.
it is wild. People do it all the time.
That's crazy.
I know people that make probably 60, 70 grand a year and have $100,000 vehicles.
Yeah, that's wild.
It's disgusting.
Yeah.
Again,
That's a year's worth of work.
what
plus.
is a car dealership's motive? Make that monthly payment as affordable as possible. They'll give you a 92-month payment plan if you want it. I mean, they don't care. Pay us off in 7 years.
Yeah.
And it's going to be higher interest.
We'll give you the first 3 months, no payment.
No payment. Absolutely. Yeah. Make it easy. He's going to regret this in 90 days, but it doesn't matter. He can't sell it.
Yeah, he's done.
He's done. He's toast. You signed. Like how many people buy a new vehicle and have immediate regret?
99.9.
But you're locked in.
Yep.
What are you going to do? You drove it off the lot. It's worth $10,000 to $20,000 less. You can't take it back.
Yeah.
You're locked in now. Like sayonara. Car dealership don't give a rip.
Yeah.
So thank you, sir.
Crazy.
Yeah. If we need to repo that in a few months, who cares? We'll come repo it and sell it again.
Yep.
Like I understand. If you can just understand the motives and why things are structured the way they are, it changes your whole view of the world, your whole view.
Because then it is a game.
It is a game.
You're going to look at that and be like, what are they trying to get me to do?
Yeah.
Well, now I'm going to beat them.
100%.
And I'm not going to do that and
Absolutely.
do something different.
Absolutely. and if you, on that, like this is all a game. The whole money is a game. The economy, it's a game. They have that story of like, if they distributed all the wealth, people talk about this, like we need to redistribute the wealth and the wealthy need to, Elon needs to get rid of his $750 billion that he has and spread it out to everybody else. In like 20 years, it would be back with the same people.
That's such a good concept. It's such a good concept.
It doesn't matter. We could redistribute all the wealth and the same people that have it today will reaccumulate it. Because it's just habits and principles.
Yeah, and the same people that are in a lesser position. Now, I think it would. Let's play hypotheticals.
Let's
say everyone in America got $1 million.
That's a lot of money. I mean, that's okay. Let's run with it. Let's see where you're going here.
Whatever.
Yeah.
This is going to be a concept, right?
Okay.
I would say a good percentage, a decent percentage, that'd be life-changing for them. They probably would invest it, and lives would change. But I'd say probably even bigger percentage, a large percentage of people in 5 years
Would lose it
and be exactly where they were before.
100%. I think the odds are better the more you give.
Yeah.
So if you give them $1 million, it's like, okay, yeah, that's enough money that people would probably go hire a financial advisor.
Right.
And
So let's say 100K.
make smart. 100K, 95% of people would be gone.
Yeah.
And that's still a good amount of money.
100K is life-changing money.
Yeah.
If you were given $100,000 on a silver platter,
Yep.
that could change the trajectory of your life forever if you do the right thing with it.
If you do the right thing.
Yes.
Because you're collapsing time. Mm-hmm. How much time would it have taken you to save that 100,000? Like it probably would have taken you 10 years. Mm-hmm. So you just got 10 years worth of potential savings if you're investing in the market and saving money. You just got 10 years given to you, but people just wash it away. They just go buy a new car.
I agree with you. Most people, they would lose that immediately.
100%. Yeah.
And in 5 years, wouldn't have changed anything.
Because they're not educated. They don't know what to do with it. And
wild.
If you haven't developed the habits and the mentality that it takes to obtain that money, when it's given to you, you don't have the skills or the habits to keep it. Mm-hmm. If you didn't obtain it, you can't. It's really hard for you to keep it. Now you give $100,000 to somebody that's already got a few 100,000 saved up in their savings because they have savings, but stocks, assets, and you give them an extra $100,000. Oh, they're going to be good stewards of it because they already have the habits and they know what to do. They know where to put their money. Right. They're not going to wash that away. They understand the time value of that money. And that's really all money is you just got to understand the time value of that money. Money, I don't think we've talked about this. Money doesn't create happiness, but it gives you time. All it does is give you back time. Mm-hmm. So how much is your time worth? And when you're making purchases, is it worth that amount of your life to make that purchase? I think that is like the most, you should do that exercise first. And I think you'll understand money better, and hopefully it'll be like, okay, I need to make some changes. I need to start tracking my numbers. I need to see where my money goes, and I need to see if I can make some changes. Because again, the problem is, just like these companies understand, like if we can make it less painful now, people will make the decisions. It's easy to spend money now because you don't feel the pain now. Mm-hmm. You don't feel the pain, especially when you're young. If you're 20 something, it's like, I'm going to be working the next 20 years anyway. Like, I know I'm going to have money. I'm going to have income coming in. Why would I not buy that stuff?
It's wild.
But you're going to feel that pain in 20 years.
Absolutely.
And I wish there was a way to make you feel the pain faster. Because if you felt the pain faster, like we're saying, like these concepts, if you had to make your first car payment, you had to put your down payment on it, you buy it, and like 3 days later you have to make your first payment. Oof, that's another, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
But if we kick it down the road, it feels lighter, it feels easier. So we're going to talk about the decision really quickly that Jace made this last week. And I want to preface this with, I'm proud of him. I'm proud of you for, I don't want to say I'm proud of you for the decision you made.
Right.
Which I don't care what decision you made. I am proud of you for putting the time and effort into making the decision. Where before, I think this would have been a really easy impulsive decision, and numbers wouldn't have been calculated, and it would have just been done. So I am proud of you for running the numbers, having a conversation with me, and putting the thought and effort into really understanding what this cost was going to be, and then making the decision.
Yeah.
So let's talk about it. And we'll share your net worth tracker too as we after we discuss this. But you came to me this week and you're like, and granted, like this takes some balls too. I mean, we're doing this podcast. We're talking about finances.
My life decisions are public, man.
And he comes and he's like, I think I want to buy a different car. So let's talk about it. What happened?
So yeah, I'll preface this with like, I know this completely contradicts what we've talked about. I literally looked at you on this podcast and say, hey, like me and my wife, our goal is to eliminate car debt. Like that's our next goal. This contradicts that 100%. So hand up in the air. I get that. Just to provide context, I was driving a car that was great on gas mileage, good commuter, over 100,000 miles on it. And it was great.
20, what was it? 20 what?
It was a
Ford Focus?
Yeah, it was a 2020 Ford Escape.
Ford Escape.
Yep.
Okay.
Great car. Loved it. It started experiencing some things that needed fixed and all that. And once a car gets over 100,000 miles, that's what happens, right?
Yeah. I
have been wanting a Tesla for probably 2 years.
Yeah.
Didn't want to buy one. Didn't want to, unless it financially made sense. One came up, and after calculating everything, and when I say I calculated everything, I called my insurance agent, got a quote on what insurance would cost, went back the past year to calculate how much money I was spending in gas on average, and how much money increase in electricity it would be to charge a Tesla, so on and so forth. The whole goal was still through the lens of like, I want to build wealth, not that I want to just buy a new car. There's no question there was a want there. I wanted a newer car, right? But it was different this time because I was like still very hyper focused on wanting to be smart and play the game right. So after calculating everything, it ended up being $100 a month less that I would be paying to own this car versus owning the Ford. And so that's ultimately kind of what made the decision for me is yes, I would be adding a little bit more debt, which will show. But my burn rate went down $100 a month.
Yeah.
And so that's ultimately why I pulled the trigger.
When Jace first came to me and that was his argument, was it's going to save me monthly $100. I said, I understand that, but let's take your monthly payment out of the picture. What is the debt difference going to be? Because ultimately that's what's going to affect your net worth.
Correct.
And that's where having a net worth tracker is so important, is because a lot of people would just do the math and be like, oh, I'm going to save $100 a month. It's like, yeah, but you're also increasing your debt by, in your case, roughly $14,000.
Correct.
Yep. Was going to be the debt increase. And so I said, look at that, because that's going to affect your net worth this next month. Your net worth is going to go down by $14,000 if you make this decision. If you're okay with that. And the other thing is, make sure you line everything up. Like, you know what your true cost was. That's what I told you. Like, go through, see what your true cost is. Don't just buy it because you know your monthly payment on this. It's like, what is the electricity cost going to be? Insurance cost. You can calculate what your savings was going to be on that Ford, and then look at also your down payment. You're going to have to put that into it. And so as long as you know all the numbers and you feel good about the decision after you know the numbers, send it. Like,
and even the point you made too is like, okay, because it's used, it's less than, like, we're not going to buy a new car. I probably, it's going to be hard for me to ever buy a new car.
Yeah.
Again.
Good.
Like, unless
Good.
we're just rolling into cash and just pay for
20
it,
years
right?
on yeah.
Like, we'll put that asterisk there. But like the point you were making and some of the advice that you gave me was like, okay, what is it Kelly Blue Booking for? Are you paying more than what it's Blue Booking? Are you paying less than what it's Blue Booking, and all of that?
Yep.
And so, yes, I paid probably almost $4,000 to $5,000 less than what it booked for, which at the end of the day helps with the net worth, because if I needed to turn around and sell it, I'd either at the very least break even.
Yep.
And so that was also a determining factor for us as well.
Yeah. I was like, figure out what the actual price, like, what is it worth? Are you getting a deal on it? You know, or are you paying more than you should for the vehicle? The big thing on this that I am, you know, I look at it. We 5 years ago we bought our Tesla new for freaking $55,000, and I just KBB'd it yesterday, and I was like, oh, dude, I can only sell this thing for like $20,000 in 5 years. I've lost basically, you know, I have the vehicle obviously, and it's paid off, but like I bought it for 55. It's only worth 20. That's like 5 years of depreciation. Basically lost 25, you know, $5,000 a year in depreciation there. Whereas you could, even today, you go buy a new Tesla, it's $60,000. You buy one that's 4 years old. Even I was looking at ones that are like 3 years old. You're going to save $20,000 to $25,000 on that. It's like, why would you go buy the new one? Again, if you value, like, how much time is that worth, that extra $20,000? How much time is that worth on your salary? Is it worth that extra time just to get that a few years newer? And as soon as you drive that vehicle off the lot, you're immediately going to eat all the depreciation. So let somebody else eat the depreciation. Let somebody else drive it for 2 years. Take all the depreciation that it's going to incur, and then you go buy it. The reason I am also okay with your decision is, like, you paid I'm going to just say it, if that's okay, $22,000 for the car. $22,000 for a Tesla that's a 2022 Tesla. For those to be less than $22,000, like, they're, you know, in the next 10 years, it's probably going to be worth, you know, maybe it's worth 15. Maybe inflation goes up and you can't buy any cars for 15,000, so it's going to kind of remain around the same. I don't think you're going to see a ton of depreciation of value in that vehicle. Right. And so, like, cool. Somebody else has already kind of eaten that cost. You're buying it now. You can enjoy it for 5 years, 10 years, whatever you decide to for however long you drive it. And I don't think you're going to really lose a ton financially. So that's why I'm like, I think it's okay. Yep. Now, this would have been a completely different conversation if you're like, I want to go buy a new Tesla for $60,000, and I would have slapped you.
Yeah, I would have slapped me. My wife would have slapped me.
And I'll give you another, you know, here's another benefit. You did fill out your net worth tracker, and you guys are you're still looking good. And I think where the biggest lesson here too is, I'm not telling you to go buy what you want to buy. Make educated decisions when you're buying those things. And then also make sure that you're still able to, I told Jace, whatever you're committing to financially right now, however much of your income you're committing to saving for your investment, whether that's 20% of your income, 10% of your income, as long as you can still maintain that after making this decision, then go for it.
And that was honestly one of the biggest. So when the opportunity came, I had a buddy that was looking at it for me. He's like, do you want this? And I said, I need to do the math, because if this increases my burn rate in any way, shape, or form, I'm saying no.
Yeah.
At the very worst case scenario, I want it to be break even. Ideally, I want it to be a benefit. For that reason, I didn't want my journey to change on the pursuit of wealth.
Yeah.
I didn't want it to be affected by a stupid decision. I still want to be able to put money to savings, still want to be able to not have to worry about anything else. So nothing's changed burn rate wise. It's actually gotten better, which is what's exciting about it.
Yeah.
The other final factor with that is just with kind of leveling up and wanting to do a lot more business this year. I did take into account that I probably would be driving double than what I did last year. So even though I took the average of what I did in gas costs last year, I anticipated that going up. I'm saving the $100 a month based off last year's stuff. I didn't take into account the increase in driving that I will be doing, but I anticipate it being $100 to $200 savings.
Yeah, I bet you'll double your mileage.
So
that's a good point too. As long as you had a plan for your money and you weren't deviating from that plan, then it's like, make some of these purchases. Like you should be able to go out and make some purchases as long as you're still maintaining the savings rate that you want. And so that's why it's have a plan for your money. And then it's easy. It's a little bit easier to make decisions like this because you can do the math and decide if it's going to make sense or not.
Yep.
And so, which is awesome. And let's go through your net worth tracker real quick to give people an update. We told people we want to update this kind of on a monthly basis so they can see your journey. Yep. So with this, obviously Jace is in a sales career. So he has good months and he has bad months. January was a good month.
Yes.
And so maybe like one of your best months.
It's probably my best 30. Yeah. It's probably my best 30-day commission stretch in my real estate career.
Yeah.
For sure.
So take that into account.
Yeah. Take that with a grain of salt. This is not going to be sustainable growth.
His growth from this month, from last month to this month is not true sustainability. But what I do love is that our number went up with that income that you saw, and we didn't see it drastically drop, which means you didn't buy a lot of liabilities. You did buy one. And so our liability increase was there of about 14,000, but everything else, did you stay consistent with your burn rate?
Yes.
In January, despite the huge increase in income that came in that month.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yep.
That is the key.
Which is, I mean, honestly, you can see that's why like a lot of these accounts have a lot more in it, is because we had a great month. We dispersed it how we needed, and that's why there's more in there. And it's because we didn't spend it. We haven't needed to spend it.
Yeah. So month over month, last month when you did the net worth tracker, your asset values were 604,000. This month they're 652,000. And your liabilities, because we did increase that car payment, so you went from $10,600 in a car loan for number one. That is now 24,000. So you see that $14,000 increase. And so total liabilities went from 507 to 520,000. So it puts your total net worth at 132,000. Last month you were at 97,000. So it's about a $35,000 jump, which is awesome.
Thank you.
Proud of you, dude.
Yeah.
Previous years, you would have probably spent quite a lot of that.
It's crazy. The second I started tracking, like to give people perspective, because they're only seeing like from when we started this podcast.
Yeah.
When I started this journey in general outside of public, my net worth was negative.
Yeah.
And that was normal. Like it was normal. It was a normal feeling of my daily life to be in a negative net worth tracking situation. That's wild to me.
Yeah.
That's wild. And so,
because you weren't tracking.
I wasn't tracking.
So you didn't really know whether you didn't know
idea.
what your net worth was.
Correct. Yeah. No idea.
I think that is the initial problem, is people just put their head in the sand and they don't know. It's really easy. It's really comfortable to just be like, well, I don't know what mine is, so I'm not worried about it.
Right.
But as soon as you start watching it, then things change.
Yeah.
So how does it feel?
It was like, again, it's a game to me now, right? Like we've talked about goals that we want to do to help elevate this game. I was really excited. I knew like the day that I crossed $100,000. Like I texted you, I was excited about it. Like it's a game now. And so there's a sense of pride because we're excited. But also like this insane motivation to just keep going.
Yeah.
Like let's keep it rolling. I'm very, very excited for this year in business, but then more so tracking where all this goes and really being on the journey. It's exciting.
There was Sharon Srivatsa, he was the president of Real. He now sits on the board of Real, which is our brokers that we work for. And he's a business partners with Alex Hermosi. And Sharon is a brilliant, brilliant guy. he has accumulated a lot of wealth, very smart financially. And he posted the other day on Instagram. If you don't follow him, you should. And his post was basically like, to build wealth, figure out what your burn rate is comfortably and lock it in for 14 years, 15 years, whatever. He said that's what he did. Regardless of what income he was making, he kept his burn rate the same. So figure out like a comfortable life that you're okay with right now and try to lock that in for at least 5 to 10 years.
And I love that.
Despite how much money you make.
That's actually what me and my wife have talked about. Because again, we just purchased a house. So that was a drastic change in our life and burn rate and all of that, right?
Yep.
We have decided now, okay, like we're in a position where we're really comfortable. So any increase in income just becomes a bonus at this point to help with the pursuit of actual real wealth.
Yes.
So I love that because we're thinking the same thing. Like,
yeah.
and I've seen that quote from Sharon and stuff. And so that's what gets me really excited is because once you get to the point of wanting to be comfortable, the goal is just to not increase your life expenses with the increase of your income.
Yeah.
That's where you get in trouble. That's where I got in trouble the entire journey that I shared before.
Yeah.
It's just every time I saw an increase in my life income, my expenses followed it.
Yep.
And there's going to be natural things. Like we're going to see here pretty quick, like I got a yard to put in.
Yeah.
I got AC unit to put in because my house didn't come with a freaking AC unit.
Yeah.
So like you're going to see that and that's real life. And that's what I'm excited to share as well is like,
it's going to come down.
The net worth is $130,000 right now.
Yeah.
I got a $20,000 yard to put in,
yeah.
you know, with fence and sprinklers and grass and all that stuff.
Yep.
Like it's,
and there'll be a portion of that increases your home value. It'll
right.
You know, but we won't give it all there. So it's like if it's 20,000, maybe we only say it's going to increase it by 10. So you're still going to be down like 10.
Right.
But it is a game of having a net worth tracker when you look at expenses, because again, you get to look at it as, okay, we have a liability expense there. We had to pay for something, but we also had an increase in the asset expense there. So it shows what you're spending money on. Is it at all helping you in the asset column as well? Because if you're spending money on it and it can also help you in the asset column, then it's not as painful. Like it makes more sense. Spend money there, wherever it's going to increase your asset values. But if you're just spending money and it's just liability and there's no asset increase, well, if you do that for long enough, it's really painful because then you're going to see that number just continue to go down.
And ultimately what he means by that, because this is a good example, going and buying let's say like a computer is 100% a liability.
Yeah.
It's not going to increase. You're not going to be able to put that on your net worth tracker as an asset.
Yeah.
Because it's just not. Versus going and putting in a fence in your yard. That increases your home value because you have a fence. So that does help your asset column.
Yeah.
So that's what you mean by that, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. Something that's going to increase, let's say you dump money into remodeling your kitchen. Well, that money's it is a cost, but as long as you're getting that same value in the asset that you're putting it into at the end of the day, then it's kind of a wash. It's like, I don't have that cash anymore, but that cash is now stored in my home value because my home value went up. So look at it as like, I'm storing my money here. Again, it's just a game. It's like putting your money into certain places. It's a game. And I love playing that game. That's why I like real estate. It's like, I don't look at it as me expensing that money. The money's not gone. It is now just parked in this piggy bank or this house that I'm secured again. Like if I need to sell that, I can, and I can get my money back. Ideally, like I'm trying, dude, I wish I could hold everything that I buy because I just want to have as many assets as possible. It's not always the case. Some don't make, the best financial sense to keep. And so we sell a lot of the stuff that we renovate. But I was talking to Rex, my business partner in our flip company, and we're starting to hold assets together in our flip company, some of the ones that we want. And just this last month, I think we added like 8 units. And I'm like, dude, I was like, once we finish this, like our company together, we're going to have like 12 units that we're holding. And if we build this other fourplex that we just, got the ground for, we're going to have 16 units. And so it's really cool how fast even stuff like that compounds. When you treat it like for us, we just look at, it's a game, and I'm just so focused on playing the game. Like I hadn't looked at my score. You know what I mean? It's kind of like I sat down, I was thinking about it, and I'm like, dude, some of these projects, the reason they're not really in my net worth tracker or anything yet is because we're renovating them. And so I'm not tracking them yet. I track the debt that I have on the properties anyway. It's kind of complicated, but anyway, I don't have them as like income producing properties because they're not producing any income yet because we're renovating them before we rent them out. But I was just looking at, I was like, dude, we have this many units that we're currently renovating. Once those are all done, we're going to have 8 additional units that we're going to be cash flowing in this entity. And so it's just fun when you look at it. Like, I'm not focused on just making money. You're just playing a game. And when you got to learn the rules of the game first. In our country, the US was built to incentivize you to invest in assets and be an investor. If you look at the tax code, it all incentivizes you to buy real estate, to buy equities. They want you to be an owner, an investor. The problem is majority of people don't understand the rules. They don't know how to play it. That's why if you redistributed all the wealth, it would go back to the same people that understand the game. They understand the rules. They know how to play with the tax code. For the first year, like, I mean, I was in real estate. I still didn't utilize the tax code as well as I should have been, especially my first few years in real estate. This is like the first year that we're really not going to pay any income tax because of the assets that we bought and the depreciation that we were able to take off those assets using like cost segregation studies.
It's impressive.
It's awesome.
It's a game.
And it's a game. And I'm like, dude, I learned this rule. And I'm like, why? It was just uneducation. And I even knew the rule, but I just wasn't putting in the time to utilize it or really understand it. Like, I knew it was a strategy. I knew it was a tax strategy, but I'm like, but then I'm paying my tax bills every year. And I'm like, dude, why am I paying this?
Right.
When I know other friends that are taking advantage of these tax codes and they make more money than me and they're not paying taxes. Why am I paying taxes? Like, it's because I wasn't willing to put in the time and effort to really understand the rules and actually like do the things that would require me to take advantage of those rules. But now I do. And now I'm like, dude, it's game changing. And the same thing with like, it goes with stocks. Like, if you look at 401k plans, they're trying to get you to invest into the stock market long term. So they're giving you tax strategies and advantages with retirement plans. But even if you just personally go and buy stocks, like I have quite a bit of stock in Real Broker, which is our brokerage. If you're a real estate agent and you're not getting ownership in your brokerage, you should find a different brokerage because that's been life changing in and of itself. But just having that equity in Real, I have a good chunk of money in there. Well, if I sell it, I pay capital gain on it. It's now income. I get taxed on it. If I never sell it, I can get loans against it. Like the wealthiest people in the world, they don't ever sell their assets. They just get debt on their assets. Why? Because debt is not income. You don't get taxed on debt. So real estate is such a valuable tool because like if you build a big real estate portfolio, one, it's like the best way to pass wealth down to the next generation. Because if you accumulate, let's say a $50 million real estate portfolio and you bought those properties, I'm actually going to use my friend Chandler because he's actually in a good place. Let's say he bought all these properties and he's only put in like his cost basis. So what he originally bought the properties for is, let's say 20 million, but his real estate portfolio is now worth 50 million. Well, that's a $30 million gain. If he was just to sell all those assets while he was living, he would have to pay taxes on $30 million. Probably, let's just say it's going to be half. So you're going to pay $15 million in tax. You're only going to get to keep half of that. Well, if he just keeps all of the properties, he can access that 30 million by getting lines of credit against his portfolio, like pulling HELOCs and stuff against it. And then he can utilize the $30 million that he has in equity. And he gets to use that money without ever paying taxes because it's debt. It's debt against the portfolio. Then when he dies, his kids get a step up basis. So that portfolio that's worth 50 million, when he passes it down to his kids, the estate, they reevaluate that portfolio at today's value. So now the kids' cost basis is 50 million. So if the kids decide to go sell that portfolio now after he's gone,
they're not paying taxes on that.
They don't pay taxes.
Additional 30 million.
And even better, they don't even have to sell it because they can keep this thing going. They could pull debt against the properties at the $50 million valuation and utilize the debt. The estate could pay them out. They could use those lines of credit and stuff to live and do whatever, and then pass it down to the next generation. The next generation gets a step up. So it is such a valuable tool to utilize. And again, it's just understanding the rules of the game. And why are people doing it? And why does Trump have so much real estate? How is he a billionaire? Look at what the wealthiest people do. How is Elon Musk worth $750 billion?
Does not mean he has $750 billion in his bank account.
No, he actually posted this on X the other day that he has like less than 1% of his net worth in actual liquid cash, which is still like like 50 to $100 million that he has in cash.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have that. You'd be shocked at the people that have these extraordinary net worths. Mr. Beast, he's posted about it. He's like, I borrow money sometimes from my mom and stuff to live because he's worth $1 billion, but it's all tied up in his business. It's the equity. It's his equity net worth in his companies. Elon Musk is an owner of all these companies. He has equity in these companies that is worth $750 billion. He's never going to sell that. Right. Why would he ever sell that? I mean, he's going to get taxed. He might sell a little bit here and there if he needs it, but at the end of the day, ultimately, he's just going to go get debt against his assets. He's going to go raise, just go get a line of credit from freaking Morgan Stanley or Goldman Sachs, and they're going to give him very favorable terms because they could be at very low risk, from the value to loan amount that they're going to give him to be secured. And so they're going to give him super favorable terms. He's going to go get cheap debt that nobody else can get. Like that's the other way the wealthy is when they have a big asset, you have leverage. So you're going to go get debt at 3-4%, where the average American is going to have to get debt at 8-9%.
Right.
And he knows that his stocks are going to go up more than 3 to 4% a year, so his portfolio is going to continue to increase. Even if he is paying interest on the money that he's borrowing against his portfolio, it still makes sense because he's not going to have to pay a capital gain of 30 to 40% on that money. Right. And so again, I can't stress enough. Learn the game, learn the rules.
That's what we're trying to do here.
Imagine trying to play a game that you didn't know the rules to. It's like, how do you win? You can't. You don't know how to play. Imagine like picking up a basketball and it's like, what do I do with this? If you don't know the rules of the game, dude, everybody's going to run up the score on you and you're not going to know what you're doing. But 90% of Americans live their entire lives that way. They're here and they're in the environment where the game is being played and they don't know the rules. And this is like,
or even worse, they're getting mad at the person who's scoring.
Yeah. Oof.
That's the worst part about it.
Yeah. You can't be mad. You can't be mad because somebody else took the time to learn the game.
Yeah.
The tax code is there for everybody to take advantage of. If the wealthy are taking advantage of it, you can't be mad. Go learn the rules and you can play the game too. Everybody, there's no, the tax code is not biased in any way. It doesn't care what color your skin is. Doesn't care what gender you are. Doesn't care where you came from. The rules are the rules and they apply to everybody.
Yep.
So you can take advantage of them. And so if you're not, you're just making excuses in your head. So, but yeah, I love that. I mean, imagine trying to play the game where you didn't know what to do. It'd be very hard to play.
Yep.
And then you think about like, this is my tinfoil hat on. Like, they don't want you to know the game.
It's true.
They don't. The wealthiest people in the world do not want you to know the game because they're the ones that own the banks and the credit card companies and the Best Buys and the Targets. And they want you to be a consumer. They want you to be an employee and a consumer. They don't want you to be an owner and investor. They want you to just keep spending your money because that's how they control you. If you don't have financial means to fend for yourself, you're going to do whatever they need you to do.
Yeah.
It's the easiest way for the government to control. It's like if you're dependent on Social Security, if you're dependent on government programs, you're not going to go against the government. Oh, take your bread, get in line. Come back tomorrow, get your bread. It's like if you actually know how to do your own stuff and you have your own financial means, you're kind of a threat. You're like, oh, you can go against the system. You can make the choices you want. You can say no to things that you don't want. Like you have resources to fend for yourself. Now more than ever, you need to make sure that you and your family have resources to fend for yourselves. Because again, like I said at the beginning, I think the next 10 years is going to be the biggest opportunity to build wealth that we will ever see in our lifetime. The whole world is going to change. I'm fearful of it. I think a lot of people are going to go unemployed. I don't think people fully understand what is going to happen in the next 10 years. I don't understand what's going to happen, but I know I want to make sure that I have money or something to make sure I can take care of whatever I need to take care of during that time. And I want as many people as we can. I want to help as many people as we can along that same journey to make sure that they can participate in the growth that the market's going to see, buy assets, buy equities, buy real estate. That stuff's going to be more valuable. I can guarantee it. Make sure that you're not going to get left behind.
That's why we're doing this.
That's why we're doing this.
This is exciting.
Last thing we're going to end with is we do have the questionnaire for our men's, I don't want to say men's group. It's just a group. Our mastermind group, our Pursuit of Wealth group. We haven't named it yet. So if you have any names, ideas.
Yeah, we're open to ideas there.
We've been really going back and forth because we want it to be good. I want it to be something we could put on a shirt, put on hoodies, like, you know, have a brotherhood, sisterhood, grouphood, whatever we want to call it, that people are proud of. Yeah. And so if you think of any names, if you're wanting to be a part of the group and you have an idea on a name, shoot us a DM. Follow us on Instagram, Pursuit of Wealth Podcast on Instagram. We post clips of the podcast, but we'll also post like updates and stuff once we have our group going. So we're going to send out, we'll link it into this. I don't know can we link it on Spotify? We'll probably only have to link it on YouTube, huh? For the questionnaire for people for the group.
I don't know. We'll have to look into that.
I think we can put it, well,
at the very least, get on YouTube.
It'll be on YouTube. Yeah. We'll put it in the description on YouTube. We'll also put it in our bio on Instagram.
Yep.
So follow us on the Pursuit of Wealth podcast on Instagram, and you can get the link for that, or shoot us a DM on Instagram, and we can make sure to send you the link for the questionnaire. Again, we're gonna limit this to between 10 to 20 people. We want it to be high level. I don't want to say high level. Any person is welcome to join. We want it to be beneficial.
Yep.
We want it to be people that are going to participate in the group. They're going to come in. They're going to not have an ego. They're going to be willing to learn. They're going to be willing to share with the group and be a little bit vulnerable. Like, this is a group that we're looking to get, like we call it level 5 friendships, where we can talk about actual things that are going on, not just surface level things. So, and we did, like, if you got an ego and you're going to just come in huffy puffy ego, it's like, we don't want that.
Right.
We want this to be a fun group that everybody gets along with and everybody feels welcomed and involved, and want to have a purpose, strong purpose with this group. So excited about that. If you want, it's like 10 questions on the questionnaire, questions that we want to know about you, and I think are going to help us make decisions to make sure that we have the right group of people for this first get together. And again, this is going to be the trial run. This is, you know, we're going to be new to this. So there's going to be things that change. There's going to be things that we try to implement along the way, but you're going to be at the ground level. And hopefully this is something that turns into a group that can be really beneficial for a lot of people down the road.
Yep.
So you can be one of the ground level people of it and help us build it how you would want to see it get built as well. Mm-hmm. So we're very open to feedback, very open to making this the best group that we can have it be. And right now it's free. So taking advantage of that too. It's going to be a free group. So excited for that. We're shooting for the first event to be the end of March. So please fill out these questionnaires as soon as possible so we can have a week or so to go through applications and send you an invite to the group once we have it going. And then we're going to shoot for the first one to be at the end of March, which we'll announce the official date once we get closer, but end of March for the first get together. So if you guys have questions, feel free to shoot us a message on Instagram, or if you have our personal cell phone numbers, reach out to us as well. Always happy to chat. So, all right. Anything else you want to end with?
No, just excited, man.
Excited, dude. Yeah. Awesome episode. So till next time, we'll catch you guys later.
Welcome to the chase where the champions dwell. To the grind, to the hustle, the pursuit of wealth. Every story, every journey, every climb from the shelf. Here's to the drive, to the fight, to pursue the wealth.